The Perils of Gwendoline in the Land of Yik-Yak. Well, that's the American theatrical name of this film. From Severin Films, this release on Blu-ray looks pretty good for a 1984 film that you probably haven't heard of. Now, granted, I did do the old reverse artwork on the other side. I kind of thought that this is a cool poster. That's the theatrical poster in the US. Problem is, neither artwork really conveys what this movie's about. Because do either of these scream erotic adventure? Video vixen of Rat and Whitesnake, Tawny Kitaen is Gwendoline in her first starring role. Gwendoline is in Southeast Asia looking for her father alongside her assistant Beth. She's promptly kidnapped but rescued by the dashing adventurer Willard, who agrees to take them downriver to learn her father was killed looking for an elusive butterfly. So to preserve her father's legacy, Gwendoline takes to the task of finding it, taking the trio to an underground matriarchal society. Now, if you picked up this release, you may have noticed that the audio seems a little out of sync, even for the Americans in this French film from Juste Jakin, the auteur behind the original Emmanuel. Oh, but this isn't a sexual film. He specifies it's erotic. Maybe for the French, there is a way to differentiate between the two, but for us prudish Americans, it's a little complicated. Now, I did describe Willard as dashing. This guy, Brent Huff, straight guy here. This is a dude. This is a guy who looks like a man's man. You could see him advertising cologne, right? Right Guard, Old Spice, whatever. Just not a strong actor.
May I do something for you?
Use this, I expect it to be just as cleanly through. Is that understood?
Really unfortunate. I actually watched this again with the commentary on, with Tawny and Brent, and man, she is really falling all over him. I mean, because, well, the mid to late 80s was really her time, but yes. Released in Europe under the name Gwendoline, that cut is considerably longer, but I can't really put my finger on what's different about it. I think it's just a little more talkative, a little more trying to set up the plot, and a little bit more of you thinking this could get moving along, because this erotic adventure, it doesn't have the fun antics in the adventure that you get out of Indiana Jones or an Indiana Jones-like clone, and you're thinking Indiana Jones clone from this cover, but not so much. It's not so much to say that this is to serve up some weird softcore scenes. That doesn't really seem to be the case either. Now, granted, there are a lot of boobies in this. It's a matriarchal society with a little bit of a sci-fi cult thing going on. Very elaborate, weird sets, French. But here's the thing. It's not particularly sexual. Even when there are rituals involving sex, it just doesn't come across as sexy. Does that seem strange? Maybe Americans just couldn't make a movie like this. The woman would lose her clothes and then you'd be fawning all over, oh yeah, now they're gonna kiss. Well, hold on, not really. They're collecting rain. Oh, we got topless girls being tortured, but through weird contraptions, and it's not really bondage-like, and nobody seems to be getting off on this. Point I'm getting at is you can understand how this has a cult following. There are elements here where it says, we put some effort into this in a way that you just don't expect in today's movies. Cult film. And this guy Brent, he's like, he'll do an episode of The Rookie, where the 40-year-old is a rookie cop for 5 seasons, and it's like people come up to me and they're like, hey man, that Gwendoline movie, yep, you're the guy, There's just movies like that, right? It's just strangely kind of likable. You have to admit that we're not looking at great cinema here, but we're looking at something of a time capsule through a weird, distorted French lens, thinking, that was, in a way, kind of fun. I suppose the American version of this, of which I can make the best comparison, would be 1988's The Further Adventures of Tennessee Buck, starring and directed by, checks notes here, David Keith. You know, you don't want to get those two names mixed up. Now that's a movie that makes a tonal disconnect, trying too hard to be goofy and then having rather graphic things happening. Beheading, oiling down Playmate of the Year. It just doesn't seem to fit. Conversely, Gwendoline remains through and through lighthearted and playful while being erotic for the duration. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised by this one. I give Gwendoline 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Hey, this is Vaughn's mom again, and I just want to remind you that if you want to see the boobies in this movie review, it's going to be $2.99 a month.